I know that I'm going to eat my words for sure, but this is a video outlining 2 watches for 2026 that I'd love to get my hands on. And by the way, I don't want to get any more. I don't want, I say that they're insane watches. There are 2 watches I've got my eye on in 2026, and here they are. Let's get into it. All right, guys, here we go. So, as I say, I've got no doubt that you know what this is like. You know what this is like, where you're a collector. You've got your eye on all sorts. The Chrono 24 watch list has been absolutely ripped right back down to back to the core, the truth, the author, the absolute. It can't be called the bare bones because it's not, but it's just there's been a critical view this year, and I'm hoping being taken into next year for things coming in. We have to be critical. We have to look at every design detail. We have to look at the price. We have to look at the brand equity and the lineage and all of those things. And so this year has been about refinement for me. I've been delighted with some incredible stuff coming in this year, including the likes of this tribute reverso with sort of off-white dial, that came in earlier this year, just after Watches and Wonders. But there's been a real shift in me this year towards smaller case sizes, as it has for so many. But more than that, it's been about a shift to really considering and dialing in, pardon the pun, dialing in on every detail and critically analysing it. Is it something you're going to wear? Number one, first and foremost, is it something that you're going to be able to wear in the next 10, 20 years' time? Is it something that's going to go out of fashion, or is it something that's going to be perennial or not? Is it the right price? Is it something that has the upside potential down the line? Not that that's the reason for the decision, but it's always nice to know if we've got to be honest on that. So look, 2 watches that I have been thinking about a lot, one more so than the other. The first one is one that has been on my mind for a little bit less time, it's fair to say. The second one is one that's been on my mind for many, many years. This one blindsided me, this first one, a little bit. I was at Dubai Watch Week earlier this year, and the one watch I left the show thinking about, dreaming about, wanting to make happen was the Daniel Roth extra plat, time only in rose gold. I'm a yellow gold guy. You know that. I'm a yellow gold guy. But the rose gold in the metal, they launched a limited run of the time only yellow, now finished, now sold out. But now the rose is perennially a part of the collection. When I saw that rose in the metal, it absolutely blew my socks off. It's a watch that has elegance throughout, in its thinness, in its proportions generally. Wears not dissimilar to this, slightly bigger, I'd say, on the wrist. You've got the double elliptical case shape, unlike anybody else. But the thinness that's achieved, there is a tourbillon version as well. That's outside of my pay grade. But the time only is so thin, and it wears so beautifully on the wrist. They've re-engineered the case so that the lugs are slightly contoured down. The early models were a little bit aggressive. Now, I've gone back and forth in my mind. Do I go, and my natural inclination is go for the original, go for a vintage reference before LVMH Le Fabrique du Temps took the brand over, go for something from the original. But in this instance, and not dissimilar to why I chose this watch, and that's why I'm wearing it, is that the robustness and the build quality and the design in the movement, particularly in this watch, is so much better than the original. A lot of these time-only variations from Daniel Roth in the early days, the Roth era, were GP movements, and were just a little bit clunky. The finishing was not to the level we're seeing here in this model, which is a hand-wound caliber, again improving on the thinness. I just think you've got something here. And by the way, they didn't do an exact variation of this. It's not an exact reissue, to my understanding, speaking to the team. This beautiful centralized time-only variation in rose with the sort of the beautiful contrast finishing on the dial, that was not done before. So it's not a direct reissue, which makes a big difference to me, at least. So look, that's a watch I want to do almost anything to try and get hold of this year. That said, and by the way, I'm not going mountaineering here. You can see me rocking the Rocky Mountain. I'm not going mountaineering, but I'd love to think I am. Price-wise is the one elephant in the room. It's the one elephant in the room, and I've got to tell you what it is. It is 49,000 Swiss. Buckle up, 45,000, just shy of. 46,000 GBP. It is a lot of money. Of that, there is no doubt. And we can't get past that. So I don't know how that's going to work. But as always, I sort of put it out there, make it clear in the mind, and then think of ways we can try and make it work. So the Daniel Roth, a shape like no other. It wears beautifully. I think Jean Arnaud and the team there, genuinely, they've not paid a penny for me to say this, but I genuinely think they're doing a sublime job over there. And by all accounts, those that have been to the manufacturer to see Le Fabrique du Temps in action have said it's insane. So all of that put together, I think that's a watch that I just would love to wear, to own, to snag, to hunt down for next year, 2026. Next up is a watch that, as I say, has been with me for years. I've had an Ellipse 3738. We've talked about that before. Didn't quite work for me, but the Ellipse that ticks all of the boxes, and I appreciate the date window for some is going to be a little bit divisive, but the 3605, the jumbo Ellipse with the old the GLC caliber automatic in the case back, closed case back, blue gold dial, the Patek thing, the blue Patek blue gold dial, with crucially, absolutely crucially, a slightly larger case size, but not too big, but the diamond indices and the diamond hands, the dagger hands, the Dauphine hands, all of that put together with the little framing around the date window, all of that put together has sold me entirely on the fact that this is the Ellipse. It's my Ellipse. It's the one I want. Prices at the moment, there's one at Somlo in London here with a bracelet, with a white gold bracelet, which is beautiful, but if it doesn't fit, it doesn't fit and can never really fit. Well, certainly it can be made smaller, it can't be made bigger, but nonetheless, I don't want it on the bracelet. No, without taking anything away from how beautiful the bracelet is, I think he's wanting mid-30s, late 30s, an awful lot of money. I want it on the strap because much like the Ellipse, much like the Reverso, you can now get the Reverso on a bracelet. I think it accentuates the design on the of the case. So I would want it on the strap. There's two of them. There's one for 28,000 in Germany. In fact, there's one for 28,000 in Germany. There's one for about 26,000 in Germany at the moment on Chrono24. But, it came in different case materials and colors on the dial. There's a couple that have tropicalized as well, which are interesting. But for me, it's got to be the blue dial. And I'd love a full set. And again, to me, the elegance of the Ellipse is unparalleled. Two watches that have elliptical shapes to them, elliptical charm to them, elegance to them. I just think most out there would agree that the Ellipse, most of the super geeks out there, most of you guys out there will agree that the Ellipse is probably, along with, say, the perpetual calendars from yesteryear, the 2499s of the world, and the 1518s, though, the perpetual calendars from Patek are probably the most important watches it's ever made, but the Ellipse might just be the most beautiful. So on that note, come with me on the journey into 2026 to see if I can hunt down those two watches and what it's going to take to get them. And the joy, truly, the joy is actually in the sharing it with you. So thank you so much. Please leave your thoughts below, guys. Tell me what you're hunting in 2026, and I'll catch you in the new year. Thanks so much for a great year. Merry Christmas. Go well.